you and I are friends, right? We have the circle of trust. So maybe I can tell you this, your teeth are dirty. Maybe we can clean ours together. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the shop. I just finished up a bunch of customer projects, but before I jump into the next ones, I need to do a little bit of shop maintenance. And this is something I am notoriously bad at because I just don't ever carve out the time to do these things. So I am forcing myself to do this, which means cleaning saw blades. I'm notorious for not doing this. And you know this because if you've seen my videos on things like joinery, you've seen some pretty nasty saw blades whenever I zoom in. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean my ripping blade and I'm gonna clean my regular all-purpose combination blade. And I got a couple things. I got a lid. This came from drywall mud tub. Yeah, so I got that. I'll put that in here. I got a couple cleaning ingredients. I've got some Bow Shield stuff. Now, I've used this stuff in the past. It's pretty good. I don't necessarily use this as my go-to cleaning thing for blades. What I use is this, which is a squirt bottle with a bunch of Simple Green in it. I love Simple Green. I don't know anybody else, it's just me. So Simple Green. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to clean my saw blade, so Simple Green and a toothbrush. Then I'll go to the Bow Shield. This blade is pretty nasty. I mean, look at that. That's just gross. Got to get that off. So this is what I'm gonna do. I've got mine in a lid. You don't have to use a lid. You can use whatever you want to. Simple Green. I'm gonna spray it all over. I'm gonna let that ruminate for a minute. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna get it all up in here too. Wiki wiki. I highly suggest you take one of your children's toothbrushes to use this. They don't use them anyway. Little stuck on stuff. Little scrapey action. Scrapey. Randomly, I like to take this and wipe it down and see how it's looking, see what our progress is. And I cleaned half of the teeth so that we can get a good comparison of the other half. And it is night and day how they look. Ooh, shiny. Oh, that's looking so much better. Make sure you get both sides of this thing. You want to get all that grime off. And also, I'm going to make sure that I turn it up on its edge, and I'm going to brush the individual teeth on the front of this too. I get all that front tooth action. I don't know if front tooth action is a term. That is a night and day difference. And it feels incredibly sharp. It feels like I just got it out of the package. That tells you how much gunk was on this thing. I'm also going to do my forest blade here. This is the workhorse in my shop. I use it for everything except for whenever I'm doing grooves, and that's when I'll go over to the ripping blade. Or if I'm doing incredibly thick material where I just want to have fewer teeth, then I'll go to the ripping blade. Otherwise, this is what I use with just about every cut. To tell you how dirty this is, I had to switch toothbrushes. Luckily, I have 2 kids, so there you go. That looks fantastic. I can't say that it looks brand new because there's still a little bit of, you know, pockets here or there, whatever. I don't really care too much about that. What I care about is that most of that gunk is off the actual teeth of this thing. The teeth feel ultra sharp. Look at that. This is gross. It's so gross. Oh, okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some clean water and I'm going to make sure that I don't have any of that residue, that soapy residue on it, and clean it off really good. I recommend using distilled water, which we're going to pretend that I'm using right now. I usually keep a gallon jug of distilled water in the shop, and I didn't realize I was out. I'm using shop paper towels with this, and they work fantastic if you've got like the thicker ones and go with the teeth. If you go against the teeth, then they end up just shredding, but if you go with the teeth, not a problem at all. Oh, that looks pretty. Let's set that guy right there. So let's talk about Bow Shield for a minute. And that's not to pick on them because, you know, I like their products just fine. I bought one of those 3-packs. This is the Blade and Bit Resin Gum and Pitch Remover, which in our place is the Simple Green. This is the Spree Lubricant, and then there's another one that's for rust removal too. That one, it's a little bit smelly, but these work fine. Actually, I will use these more often over on the bandsaw because I can't just remove the blade. I mean, I can, but it's kind of cumbersome and you're wrestling around a bandsaw blade. Compared to using the table saw blade, I can just take that out and clean it right here in a bucket. I just find that Simple Green works pretty good. Unless there's some that's really caked on that I cannot get off with the Simple Green, then I might go with their pitch removal stuff. But otherwise, Simple Green's good for me. But I do love the lubricant. This is stuff that I will spray on my bandsaw blade all the time. And now that my blades are cleaned off and they're dry, I definitely want to make sure I put something on this because I don't want to have any rust build on it. Fortunately, I am in a basement shop and I have dehumidifiers running. My basement is super dry and it's a fantastic environment for tools. I don't get any rust on my tools whatsoever. But originally, I'm from down south. I'm not from Michigan. And I can tell you that I feel bad for my compatriots down there that have to deal with that humidity, especially if you are along a southern coast. So I recommend you use some sort of lubricant, especially something that has like a dry feeling to it. Like what I like about this is that it doesn't make my table saw blade feel wet at all. Once it sprays on there, just give it a couple seconds, it'll dry, and then you're good to go. And then you don't really have any of that rust issues that you might face if you did not use that and you were in a humid environment. I definitely wanted to put this any place that there was bare metal that was not coated. So like for this blade, it has the red paint on it. So I'll make sure all the teeth are in there, the arbor, get all in there. And that will dry in a second. I kind of put that on a little bit heavy. Usually I don't do it that heavy, but it's all good. All right, moment of truth. We're gonna test this thing out. Yesterday, I was working with some walnut and I cut this piece here. So this was a cross cut in my table saw sled, and where the blade exited is exited a word? And where the blade came out of the wood, there are some fibers that tore out right there. So we're gonna try the same cut again with a clean blade, see what happens. This one was the one I cut the other day. See how splintery it is? This was the one This is the one that I just cut off of the same board. Much cleaner. To me, this was a night and day difference. So I'm going to set a calendar reminder on my phone periodically that says clean your table saw blade. And then I'll set a second reminder to say stop ignoring the first one and seriously clean your table saw blade, because I know myself. In all seriousness, if your blade is dull, if it feels like it's slow to cut, if you're getting any sort of burn marks on your wood or tear out, take the time to clean your blade. Don't just ditch it. Don't spend money to go get it sharpened. Put a little elbow grease into it, get it cleaned up, and that might solve all of your problems. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please subscribe and hit the bell notification. I put out videos multiple times a week, so you're definitely going to stay up to date on those. And please share this content with somebody who might enjoy videos like this. And until we meet again, get in your shop and build something awesome.